introduce you guys to Jessica Cox. She is the author of Disarm Your Limits. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Jessica.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm just getting to know you, and I'm glad I got to swing by here. It's a beautiful event here at Balboa.
All right, so let's talk about writing this book. This is your first book. What is it about?
It is about my life, and most people know me as the armless pilot because when I received the title as a certified pilot, it went viral and went all over the world, and I've spoken in 20 different countries, and so I'm a motivational speaker as well. And in the book, I talk about 8 principles that have helped me overcome the challenges in my life. Principles like desire, perseverance, courage, and I talk about them all together in a formula for flight. And for so many times people come up to me and ask me, what is it that made you do what you did, and how did you get through it all? And I finally have it down in a book to share with the rest of the world, and that's why I'm so excited to be finished with it. Being Filipina, I truly believe that I would not have been able to excel the way I have if it wasn't for my background, if it wasn't for hard work and not giving up and being stubborn and hard-headed. And just really that type of tenacity, that type of strong will, that surely came from my growing up as Filipina. And my mom and her sisters and her mother were all examples of that, and her whole family.
And not only do you have this book, Disarm Your Limits, but I heard you also have a documentary titled Right Footed. Tell me about this. This is an amazing documentary. I mean, how different is the book from the documentary?
The book is very much a motivational self-help book. The documentary captures my life and my wedding with my husband Patrick, and traveling to the Philippines after the Yolanda, and traveling to Ethiopia to help with disability inclusion of people with disabilities in education. So it covers a huge, for one, it took 3 years to make the documentary. And I'm excited for it to be out there finally, because it was a very long process to get this documentary finished. And the book came in less time, but the book is very similar in that some of the same stories are in the book. But the documentary, of course, for people who like to watch movies, that's what the documentary is for. And then the book is for the reader, or for anyone who'd like to have more of a self-help book.
Okay, so I understand that, documentary films take much more time, but you said the book obviously was easier to make. How did you write this? I mean, just a matter of logistics. How did you really write this?
I have been trying to write a book for 7 to 8 years, and the stories within the book come from a whole lifetime. A lifetime of, take for example, when I started swimming at the age of 5, the story is in there.
Why is it important that people read Disarm Your Limits?
It's so easy to give up, and it's so easy to come up with an excuse or a limitation. But Disarm Your Limits, just as it is in the title, it's eliminating those excuses, it's eliminating those limitations.
What is your message to all our kababayans out there that are also Filipino Americans that are struggling through everyday life? Because as we know, life doesn't come easy, especially when you immigrate to a new place, or, when you're trying to find your identity. What is your message to those kababayans?
Well, I just want to say that everyone has some form of challenge, and it's hard to realize it, but you can use your challenge as your greatest gift. So it's wonderful how my challenge has turned into my greatest gift, and I think that can be true for anyone. Just know that your challenge, your obstacle, or whatever you're faced with, you can get through it. It makes you a stronger person, and use it to help you.
I'm so glad I got to talk to you. Thank you, Jessica, for your time.
Thank you for having me on the show, and hello to everyone, so thanks.
Grab her book, Disarm Your Limits. You can check it out at jessicacox.com. Maraming salamat, mga kababayan.